My name's Luke Halford, and this is the fifth and final episode of my creating a character workshop for Gawler Youth. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so episode 5. So I already filmed an episode 5, but I've decided that I'll just turn it into a very quick run over of myself designing a character that I've created outside of these lessons, and I thought I'd just turn that into a very quick time lapse. It ended up taking me an hour or so, it's very sped up to kind of fit at the end of this episode, and it will make this episode a little bit longer. But so for this episode, at the start at least, let's talk a little bit about shading and making your character a bit more three-dimensional. So whether that's poses, so when you're creating your character and you've got to this point where you've got a character in mind, maybe you've figured out the style. I'm still playing around with the style for this character, changing it up. Once you've got a style or whatever, and you've got most of your character figured out, you might want to start taking some photos of yourself, or maybe some friends or family doing some random poses, or poses you think your character would do, and drawing your character in those poses. And when you do this, it's probably a good idea to set up some lighting. So is the light shining on their face? Is it coming from behind them, below them, above them, to the side of them? And the reason I might say you do this is because when we've got a character, and I've got my character here, and she's just standing around, leaning up against whatever bench is here, waiting for something to happen, I guess. She's waiting for something. And she's just leaning here. The reason we might do this is because right at the moment, this is pretty flat. Even if we added colour, and all the colours were the same, so this was red, this was blue, this was green, whatever colours we had decided. Without shading or lighting or anything like that, it looks like it's just sitting on a page. It doesn't look like it could be real, really. It just looks like doesn't look like too much, doesn't look real. Not that our cartoons are going to be really real, but as soon as we start adding, so let's say our light is over here, so we're going to put a little sun up here, and this might be your light in your bedroom, this might be the light, like the sunlight, this might be whatever, decide where this is going to be, or take a photo of a reference, so a person that you know and someone who will be doing the pose, and then from there you might figure out where the shadows sit on your character. So my light's coming from over there, it's with me. And don't forget about the car shadows either. So we've got our shadows on our character, so all these shadows will be, so since the light's coming from here, so same as where my light is on my desk, it's coming from over here, it's hitting here, and then as we get to this side where the light isn't coming from, it's dark, this is our shadow, and then we've got a shadow below it. So that's what I'm doing here. So we've got our finger here, and my light's coming from above. So if it's like this, it's got my finger, and then we've got this shadow below. And it kind of looks like the shape it would be. And I've practiced this lots and lots over the years, so I can freestyle this a little bit. I still get stuck on shadows and lighting a lot, so reference photos are always very, very helpful. So take your time, add in some shadows, and don't forget the cast shadows, so shadows that even if you, let's see, if we add a shadow here on this arm, that's all well and good, but this light coming from here, so it's going to be hitting here on this is sitting out, and this is where you got to know what's happening on your character. So this is sitting out a fair bit from the shoulder, so this is up and above and also coming out towards us. So that's going to be stopping this light from getting past it, and it's going to be leaving a shadow on the arm. Same as this here, and this here, and just go around and figure out your shadows. And this is very, very light, probably not that good looking at the moment because I'm not really got the time to be figuring it out completely. But adding some shadows can make a big difference. That now this character kind of looks like she's not just a flat piece of paper. She looks a bit more rounded, a bit more real-ish, because she's kind of still not that great because I'm rushing it. Rushing. Now, my shading kind of made it look like she's got a beard as well, which isn't what I meant to do. And then shadows will follow our character, but I very much recommend getting some reference photos. Getting some photos of your mum, your dad, or whoever, and using them to, using a photo to figure out where shadows should be for your character's pose and the lighting that is on them. And poses are a big thing too. Think about how your character might pose. How are they standing? Do you stand a particular way when you're mad, or you're angry, or you feel really good about yourself, or you're really happy? Because your character will do the same thing. Characters are people, or things, or whatever you decide they are. And they have personality, and showing them in particular poses can show their personality through the pose and through their emotions and expressions, and show whoever you show your character to what type of character your character is. That was a lot of character, wasn't it? But adding a little bit of shadow, making sure you keep your lines clean. And I could spend half a day doing this. Not quite. Well, depends on how technical I go or whatever. But Let's see, I think this should be good enough. And one thing I like to do, you've probably seen me doing it so far, is when your shadows get pretty dark, it might make your lines disappear. So maybe you want to go back over your lines, make them a little bit thicker, so that the shadows stand out and you've still got your characters there, they're not disappearing. So now our character kind of sits on the page a little bit more. They're not disappearing as much. They kind of look like they could be in real life-ish. I know this is very quick, and I've also got a camera in my face, so it's a little bit hard to draw. And I can't really get up and close to it, but hopefully this illustrates how good shading can be, and poses. But yeah, now that's a decent amount of episode 5, and I hope you guys enjoyed this mini series, and hopefully you learned a little bit. I had a lot of fun, and now I've got my character, and I don't even know what I'll name her. If you guys want to come up with a name for her or create your own characters, if I ever come past the youth space, I'd love to see your characters and what you guys do with these tips and tricks. I'm gonna wait for that plane to pass. But yeah. Anyway, that's the end of episode 5. I will maybe show the time lapse at the end of this episode, and I will see you all when I see you. Goodbye. So that was the final episode, and this is a little time lapse I've sped up really, really fast of my character Rash. He is a frog pirate, and don't mind the painting skills. I hadn't painted like that before with some new paints that I'm trying, but here you go. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you around when I see you. Alright, bye.